Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Insights from a Headhunter. Today, we have a special guest with us, Sarah Clay from the UK. Hi,
Hello.
Sarah.
Hi, Tina. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to see you here. So, everyone who doesn't know Sarah Clay, she's an award-winning social media strategist, keynote speaker, LinkedIn strategist, and also employee advocacy expert. So tell me, Sarah, introduce yourself to people who don't know you yet.
Hello. Welcome to Tina's show, I'm very excited to be here. Yes, I am a LinkedIn trainer, LinkedIn strategist, and now author, which is very exciting, of an Amazon bestseller. And I focus on helping companies optimize LinkedIn in the best, most efficient, and most cost-effective ways possible. And that really is employee advocacy. So using your whole team, or as many of your team as you can, to promote your business via LinkedIn. So using their personal profiles to get the message from your company page out and about on LinkedIn.
That's wonderful. I've been waiting for years to talk about this topic. It's really close to my heart, and companies who do it right, it's so easy to attract candidates to them. But first of all, congratulations to the new book. I just got it last week from Amazon, and it's bestseller. It's wonderful. I think everyone who has a company should get this book and read it and take those tips. And we met in person, Sarah, didn't we? Earlier this year.
We did. We met in Birmingham at UpLift Live, and it was so lovely to meet you in person, Tina, after meeting you on LinkedIn and then able to give you a hug and see you in 3D. It was lovely, really, really lovely.
So tell me a little bit about your background. How did you start working with employee advocacy?
So it kind of started before I knew that employee advocacy was a thing. So I used to work in PR and in marketing in-house in various companies. And my last role was PR. And to be honest, it wasn't really for me. And while working in marketing and PR, I was introducing the firms I was working for to this new concept called social media. So we are going back a few years. And I was getting these companies on Twitter, as was then, Facebook and Instagram. Those were the three platforms that I worked on. And I then realized that actually social media was the future, and that's where I needed to focus. So I left the company I was with, trained with a company called Digital Mums to be a social media manager. And then I set myself up as a freelance social media manager. Soon had an agency running social media for pubs, lots of pubs. I had a few other clients as well, but my work seemed to be mainly focused around pubs, and that just sort of happened by chance, really. But I loved it, and it was really me, and it was a great experience, really good fun, and watching these pubs really make a difference. One of the things I realized, because I was also the photographer and the filmographer and everything for the pubs, was that I couldn't be there in the pubs at the key moments. So, for example, one of my pubs was a big rugby pub in Twickenham, near the Twickenham rugby ground. And it used to get really, really full on rugby days, and they'd all watch the rugby. And I was there once, and the whole floor, packed full of people, and the whole floor would lift when a goal was scored or try. And I thought, wow, I can't be there to do that. So I had a chat with some of the employees of that particular pub. And I said, you know what, if you you have the logins for the company Instagram, which is the main platform, you post these posts. I want you to get involved in this process, you employees, you bar staff, because you're here. And they were a bit reticent at first. So I had a chat with the manager, and I said, why don't we set up a scheme whereby the employees, the bar staff, post on the company page, on the company stories, whatever, And at the end of each month, I'll measure the engagement, and the person who posted the post with the most engagement wins a bottle of vodka or a bottle of gin. And the pub manager thought that was genius. So we did it across all of the pubs. And then, of course, at the end of every month, we made a post about who'd won the bottle, you know, who was the winner and all of this kind of thing. And it was great. And I noticed a lot of other things happening around this as well, which I can talk to you about later. But and then then I transitioned into LinkedIn. Of course, we had lockdown. I lost all my pub clients, had to really think outside the box. Few people said to me, help me, I need to know how to use LinkedIn because we're in lockdown now, etc., etc. We all know that story. And as I've sort of continued my journey, I've realized that corporates, companies are really places where I can help a lot, really a lot. So I've started to work with them, and then I've started to bring that whole system of getting employees involved to LinkedIn, thinking this is just common sense. This is what we do here. This is networking. Let's get as many people to network as possible. And then I literally stumble across this term employee advocacy and realize it's a thing. It's got a name. I had no idea. So I was kind of doing this thing without realizing what it was. So that's when I dug in deep and started writing the book and really thought, right, I'm going to really push this and try and spread it around as many companies as possible.
Yeah. And I also saw in your book, there was a chapter about how it makes the recruitment easier, how you attract the right people to the company and how it makes it more cost effective. Can you give an example of that as well?
Yes, absolutely. And this is one of the offshoots that I didn't realize would happen, but it does happen. So if a company is out on LinkedIn with the employees talking about the company, what they're doing is showing the culture within the company, and they're showing what a great place it is to work there. And they're talking about their work journey, if you like. So the company is celebrating birthdays, celebrating their employees. So if you're looking for a job, and let's face it, lots and lots of people are looking for jobs quietly, you know, without really looking, but they're kind of looking. If you're showing your wonderful company culture and what you're doing out to the world, all of those people who are looking for jobs will think, okay, that's a really nice company to work for. Or they may think, actually, that's maybe not the right fit for me. But what you're doing by showing the culture of the company and what's involved in the company is highlighting who you are to those people who want to be a part of that. So those people who don't then won't apply for the job. So you're saving yourself a lot of time sifting through unnecessary CVs and things. But those people who really want to work there are going to be a higher quality because they're going to be very well matched to work for that company, and they're potentially going to be a higher quality of applicant. And it really can help the recruiting process. And in fact, a specific example I think I do talk about in the book is I had a client who was looking for an in-house employee, and the company isn't based in a central position. It's a bit out in the middle of nowhere, and they always find it hard to recruit because they want people to work in the office. And they had spent a lot of money with a local recruiter and hadn't found anybody. So I said, well, why don't we start an organic campaign? Let's get all the other employees talking about the company and saying we really want somebody to fill this particular role. And we developed a post for each of the employees talking about things like, John makes a great cup of tea, come and work here. You know, funny things, but also serious things like, you know, we get Friday afternoons off, and this is a great company to work for. And they had quite a lot of applicants. And in fact, they hired 2 people on the back of that. And it cost them pennies by comparison.
Yeah. And also people are motivated to work there because they know where they will be working, and the interviews will be more interesting as well because they can ask the right questions, and there is a better match, which is, I think, the hardest part in recruitment, to find the cultural match, because skills, we all have them, we can learn new skills, but that it really feels like you fit in the company, that's where employee advocacy comes in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, if you're it's like you're opening the doors to your company on LinkedIn, and you're saying to people, "Come and have a look. Come and have a look at what we're doing here," because we're putting it out on LinkedIn. So yeah, those applicants are much, much, much better suited because they know exactly what they're applying for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the book you have written really interestingly. I thought it was about employee advocacy, but then we come to company pages and social selling. So it's all connected. So why should people invest in employee advocacy? Because you say it's a program, you have to invest in it. What is the return?
Great question. So for the company, there are lots of positives, and including recruitment. Where shall I start? Okay, just imagine as a CEO of a company of 50 people, you go to a networking meeting every week, just you. And it's a big meeting. You get around the room and you maybe bring home 1, 2 leads each time. If you could take 10 of your employees with you to that networking meeting, just imagine the return on that investment and how much more impactful that would be. And that's what employee advocacy is. It's increasing the reach of what you're doing and what you're saying. So that's a huge, huge advantage to bringing an employee advocacy system in. And there are lots of other advantages as well, including the whole point around the culture of the company, which we've touched on. But what I noticed happening quite quickly when I started doing this was that when it's taken seriously within a company, when employee advocacy is not just a kind of a thing we'll just bolt on the end of a Tuesday afternoon. This is something that the CEOs are doing, the C-suite are doing, and it filters down, and everybody gets involved to a different degree because not everybody can be involved in the same way. What happens is it becomes a part of the conversation of the company. People start talking about it. It's a bit like Netflix. So it's like, oh, have you posted today on LinkedIn? Oh, I saw your post. I loved your post. It was great. And the company start to pull together in this one common good. And it's brilliant to watch. It's so, so lovely to watch this happen. And I see it with all of my clients now, how they're all working together. And the whole company becomes much closer as a result. But on the other side, you're also getting much, much, much more brand awareness, increasing your potential leads and clients, and it just helps the business to grow and grow in a very positive way.
Yeah. And also you mentioned working with freelancers, so people who are not officially employed by the company, to feel more close to the company culture and act as if they are part of the team.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, client I've got at the moment, most of the staff are freelancers, and they're all jumping on board. And initially, there was some reticence, I think, within those people. It's like, why should I do this? I'm a freelancer. But I said to the CEO, tell these guys you're offering them some free training here. This is a great opportunity for them, and they can take this training and run with it and do what they like with it. But they're all getting more and more involved and engaged in the company, in this particular company, over and above the other companies that they're working for. And it's just so lovely to see. And there is a balance, and it can be a bit tricky getting that right. But tweaking and playing and talking about it, it works, and these people are definitely, I can see this cohesion forming with all the freelancers, and it definitely happens.
Yeah, and I think also if I see somebody who is talking really well about their current employer, the next employer will want to work with you as well, to be the cheerleader of the company.
Absolutely, that's so true. One of the objections I do hear quite a lot, and I don't really like talking about negative things, but this always comes up, so I may as well say it. The CEO or HR, perhaps, or even marketing would say, well, if you're going to encourage our team and train our team to be more prolific and better on LinkedIn, they're going to get poached. But actually, the opposite happens. because it creates this wonderful culture, and because the teams know that the company is investing in them, they're actually more likely to stay. They will be, people will attempt to poach them, but they'll say, no, actually, I really
Exactly.
like it here.
Yeah, I hear it all the time from people whom I approach. Thank you for this opportunity, but I'm really happy in my current company. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that.
It's great, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, yes, your role is putting people into positions, but if you've put them in the right position and they want to stay, that's perfect, isn't it?
Exactly, a place where they can grow. So
Yeah.
let me jump into some comments. We have John Nisperian joining us. I see you both. Congratulations on getting your book out, Sarah.
Oh, thank you, John. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. John's such a great supporter. He really is. And John's helped me a lot along the way. So I always have John to thank for lots of things in my LinkedIn journeys. Thank you, John.
I think many people have a book in them and want to get it out, but then you need a community like with John to get it out. So really congratulations. Then we have Guy Strijbos from Holland. It has a name. Woohoo! I think he's referring to employee advocacy. That's what we
I
found
thought
out.
he was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he's wonderful. I met him, didn't I? We all met
we
together.
did.
Yeah, it does have a name. Great. Yay. It makes it real.
And then we have Gillian Whitney joining us, cheering you both on, Sarah and Tiina.
Oh, the wonderful Gillian. We love Gillian. She's amazing, amazing. And the whole LinkedIn community is just so fantastic. So thank you, Gillian.
And it was wonderful to meet her in person as well. She
Yeah.
came all the way from the US to Birmingham.
I know. It was brilliant. It was so wonderful to see all these great, people that we see, we meet online, and there we were in person. And it just shows the power of LinkedIn for the relationships that we've been able to build over these years. I mean, it really is incredible. I mean, I consider you guys as friends now.
Oh,
We're
yes.
not just colleagues and associates. We're actually friends. And Gillian and I, and a couple of other people, we actually collaborated on a project during lockdown, and just we'd met on LinkedIn and we all collaborated together on a project. And it's just such a great place to meet people and help you in all kinds of different ways.
And let me see, we have Lukumano joining us from Finland. Employee advocacy is potent when frontline workers are highly involved.
That is true.
What do you think about the importance of the CEO being visible in the program?
That is absolutely vital. Absolutely vital. So I work very closely, not always, but sometimes, if I'm working with a company, I sometimes will also work very, very closely with the CEO, maybe a couple of other people in the C-suite, or only with them, because it has to come from the top. It really does have to come from the top. They're the ones that have to lead this. And in fact, when I start working with a company, I request that the CEO invites the teams to join the program. The CEO does it rather than me. And I think that gives it much more gravitas and much more power. And for, let's say you're an intern in a company and you've written a post and posted it, and your CEO comes and comments on your post. How valuable is that? Isn't that's such a powerful thing for a CEO to even just to say, this is a great post, whatever, or I find your comments interesting, whatever it is. How wonderful and how amazing for people on the outside to see that happen on a public platform, that the CEO is praising the intern for something they've done, something they've written. I think it's so valuable for that. That's the kind of thing that happens.
And that makes really my life as a headhunter so much easier, because when I can tell the candidates, just go and look at their social media, how they interact with each other, what they post about, how they talk about each other. You see the pictures when they are on the team building events. People want to work with people, they want to see people. So it's really, really gold. If
It
it's
really
done
is.
correctly. Yeah.
If it's done correctly. Yeah, absolutely. If it's done correctly. And that's really important that it is done correctly. And it is not to be taken lightly. You know, it needs to be done, as you say, it needs to be done properly, and there needs to be a system involved. And it shouldn't just be a let's give this a go. It's got to be taken seriously.
One of my favorite pages in this book is page 37. It's about celebrating personal milestones. So this is where you talk about how it brings the feeling of well-being and harmony within the company. And what is the easiest way to celebrate personal milestones?
The easiest way on LinkedIn is to write a post about it. So we are all aware that images of faces, photographs get better engagement on LinkedIn than anything else. So a photograph of the person, let's say somebody's been working at the company for 10 years or something like that, you know, just a nice relaxed photo of the person and a congratulations to this person, we're really happy to have you, etc., etc. And then encouraging all of the colleagues to respond. And in fact, I was doing a training last week, and this exact thing was happening. Somebody had been at the company for 5 years. I said, right, we're going to do a post about this, and we're going to congratulate them. And one of the employees said, well, what would we say? What would our comment be? Can you guide us? I said, of course. So I said, right, we're going to do some role play. I love doing role play. I said to this person, I said, oh, congratulations. You've been at the firm 5 years. And then I went round the Zoom room, because this was a company based all over the world. And I said, what's your comment? What would you say? You know, we're all standing around in a room, and they said, oh, I'd say it's been lovely to work with you. I said, right, that's what you're going to write on LinkedIn. And they went, oh, I get it now. And literally we went round and round and round, and everybody had something different to say. Of course they did, because you would say, if you're all standing around in a circle, somebody would say, it's been lovely working with you. Somebody would say, congratulations. Somebody else would say, you know, I've loved sitting next to you, and all of these things. And one of the really, really key things that I tell people is that you treat LinkedIn, and how you write on LinkedIn is how you speak in real life. And it's no more complicated than that. Just put yourself in a real life situation, think what you would actually physically say, and write it down. That's it.
Yeah. And your background is in law, if I remember correctly.
Well done.
So you could really speak in a different manner, but that's not the winning strategy, is it?
No, because your client wouldn't have a clue. You know, your audience. What are you saying? And you know, speak for your audience. Think about what are the people I want to, you know, I want to be my audience. What would they understand? What's the language that they would use? And this is why it's important to, yes, get the C-suite on, definitely on LinkedIn, but also everybody across the board. So if you've got a tech team, you know, whatever your product or service is, let's get some of the tech people who have that really deep tech knowledge and want to talk about megabytes and gigs or whatever it is, and use those phrases and initials that only people who really understand the tech would understand. But some people just like to geek out, for example. So they want to talk about the tech stuff, and they're potential clients, potential customers, potential referrers. So they want to talk to the tech team. Let's get the HR people, you know, if there's an HR team or an HR person, let's get them talking about HR on LinkedIn from their viewpoint. So they're creating themselves as an expert in HR, but they're doing it via the company platform. So yes, they're promoting themselves. Yes, they're promoting the value of HR, and they're also promoting the company. It's, there's so many things that can be achieved. Get the interns on talking about how nice it is working at the company. Get everybody on board, because exactly what you've just said, Tiina, people work with people. So it's really important to get the whole gamut of everybody, all across the company out there on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think when you talk about the personal milestones, you refer to a research from the Harvard Business Review. This is what astonished me the most, that the same study revealed that people's job searching activities increased by 12% just before their birthday. So if they don't get the appreciation, if they don't get the cake and the balloons, then it's probably my turn to contact them just before their birthday, because that's when people are thinking to change jobs, if I understand correctly the message.
Absolutely. And it's a fascinating fact. And I kind of stumbled across that and thought, actually, it does make sense, because as we approach our birthdays, we do kind of look at our lives a little bit, don't we? And think, oh, crikey, another year's gone by. What have I done? What have I achieved? Am I still here in this job? Do I want to stay? Maybe I should be, maybe it's time I moved on. So if you're then celebrating your, somebody's birthday, they're going to think, oh, actually, this place is quite good. I quite like it here. Maybe I'll stay. And it's these little touches, as you know, as a headhunter, Tiina, it's these little touches can make all the difference, can't they? Because people don't just, money is no longer the driver with most people. I can't remember the stats because my brain doesn't remember things very well. But what people want from their job is fulfillment, satisfaction, and community. Money, yes, but generally, I think it's something like 80% or something of people, money is not the driver. It's the other things that are the driver. So if a company can use employee advocacy, LinkedIn, celebrations, all of those kinds of things, and help the employees to get to know each other better as well, which also, of course, happens on LinkedIn, because people talk about things that they maybe wouldn't talk about in the office, or particularly if people are remote workers and they don't all work in an office, they can get to know each other better. So if you're pushing and encouraging all of those things, then money isn't so much of an importance, and people are more likely to stay.
Yes, and the investment in a cake and balloons and flowers is much less than hiring a recruitment agency to help you find a new person, train them and get them on board. So it's a good tip. So wrapping everything up for today, the book is out on Amazon. Get it. I highly recommend it. Where can people find you, and what are your final thoughts?
So the book is now out on Kindle as well as on in print. So if you're a Kindle reader, it will be in audio at some point when I get round to doing that, but that will happen. Where can you find me? Tricky one. On LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn. It's where I hang out a lot. It's where, it's where I am. Please come and find me on LinkedIn. Send me a DM. And I'm always open for a chat. So if I did used to have a Calendly link on my profile, but it's disappeared for the moment because it's got my book link in there instead. But if you want to chat about anything to do with your personal profile, your company profile, if you're a CEO and you don't know what on earth's going on here on LinkedIn, which a lot of people don't, send me a DM. Let's have a chat.
All right. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you, Tiina. It's been lovely talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.